All right, everyone, we're live. How's everyone doing? This is Jerome Parker, and we are here July 3rd, 2018, Tuesday, Tech Talk. Now, there's one thing that I want to speak on today, and that has to do with everyone's favorite slash least favorite social media platform, that is called Facebook. But before we begin, let me do my initial housekeeping. If you haven't been to my website, jeromeparker.com, be sure that you stop by there. Check out the shop, check out the blog articles, follow the blog to get my latest updates. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do so. I thoroughly appreciate it. And tonight we will have the phone lines open. So let me get that number for you. While I get that for you, anyway, let me talk about what we're doing. So Facebook has put out some interesting patent requests for technology to spy on you. Now I'm going to read you this article from INC real quick. But before I get to that, I do want to remind everybody, please go ahead and share this video. It's very important for this message to get out here, because it's very important that people know what this social network is doing. Facebook reaches more people than Christianity at this point, number-wise. Was it like 1.8, 1.7 billion, something like that? I know it's larger than Christianity. So, you know, everything that they do, we need to know about it. And there's no question. So, like I said, I'm going to be reading this article from INC. And I would like you guys, you can head over to inc.com and check it out for yourself. The title is Facebook is patenting technology to spy on you through your smartphone, camera, and microphone. The company says it may not use these patents. Does that make you feel better? This is from Minda Zetlin, co-author of The Geek Gap. Is Facebook using your computer camera to read Is Facebook using your computer camera to read your facial expressions and determine how you feel about what you see on your screen? Is it using your phone's microphone to eavesdrop on you and find out what television programs you watch? Is it tracking your phone's location in the middle of the night to find out where you live? Maybe not, or at least not yet. But the company has applied for patents to do all these things and many others, all of them intended to study your behavior and personality and even predict your future in order to better serve Facebook's customers. You may think that's you, but it's actually Facebook's advertisers, which account for 99% of its revenue. Sahil Chinoy, a graphics editor for the New York Times, recently reviewed hundreds of Facebook's patent applications and appropriately dubbed many of them creepy. Here are 4 of the creepiest. Number 1, a patent for using your device's front-facing camera to read your facial expressions and determine how you feel about what you see on the screen. Number 2, a patent for using your phone's microphone to eavesdrop on you, determining which television programs you're watching and whether the ads are muted. It would also use the electrical signals emitted by your television to identify programs. Number 3, a patent that would track your weekly routine. It may also use your phone's location in the middle of the night to try to determine where you live or at least sleep. Number 4, a patent that would track your A patent that would use your posts and messages and credit card transactions to predict your major life events such as birth, marriage, graduation, or death. Advertisers particularly value knowing when such events might occur soon. Does all of this make the little hairs on the back of your neck stand on end? Not to worry, says Facebook VP Alan Lowe, head of intellectual property. Most of the technology outlined in these patents have not been included in any of our products and never will be, he told the Times in an email. But any way you look at it, that's not a comforting response. Applying for a patent isn't a quick or easy matter. It typically involves tens of thousands of dollars worth of attorney's fees. It's certainly true that companies sometimes patent a concept in anticipation that either they will be sued by a company using similar technology or will themselves initiate a lawsuit someday. But there's simply no reason for Facebook to go to the time and expense of patenting all of these sophisticated and invasive methods of data collection unless it plans to use them, or at least thinks it might use them someday. Whether it uses these precise technologies, the company clearly intends to gain even more precise information about its members and non-members so as to sell that info to those who can make use of it, or help advertisers more perfectly target their ads. Facebook has repeatedly said it gives users total control over the information they voluntarily share with the platform. When pressed, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg admitted to Congress that the company gathers shadow profiles on non-Facebook users, but insists that it is simply tracking publicly available data. But what about data Facebook collects or may collect in the future by spying on users through their cameras or listening through their smartphone microphones? Will it ask people to opt in before it begins gathering information this way? It's hard to imagine even the most hardcore Facebook user giving permission for practices like these. Can we trust Facebook not to do this stuff without asking permission first? Well, it didn't initially ask permission when it started tracking users' phone calls or their web browsing activity. It didn't ask permission before it conducted a widespread and successful experiment to see if it can manipulate people's moods. As always with the giant social media, you're faced with an unappealing choice. Either delete your Facebook account and lose the convenience of communicating with and keeping up with all of your relatives and friends, or let the company go ahead and gather information that can include where you're sleeping, what you're watching on TV, whom you're in a relationship with, or maybe even when you might have a child. All right. So let's recap. Let's recap on what's going on. So Facebook has applied for several patents, and 4 in particular are standing out. And the majority of these patents have to do with data collection in a way that is really kind of spy-like. They're using your phone, the microphone on your phone. They're using your front-facing camera. They're using your GPS. And while these are things that have gone on before with them, the level of sophistication and intricacy that they're going about doing it is very, very, very disturbing, to say the least. So what the issue is here is that Facebook has become too big to fail. Okay. Before I get into that, let me recap again the four items that are being addressed. Okay. Ty Mo, good info. Thank you, brother. Please share. I would like to have more people on the live stream, because I do think this is important, and I do think, because it literally is affecting everybody. Let's just be honest. It's affecting everybody, because one of the things about this is not just Facebook is going to end up doing similar things, but I'm gonna get to that in a moment. By the way, I opened up the phone line, so at any given point in time, feel free to call in. The phone number is 502-791-6409. I put it in the chat. Once again, that is 502-791-6409. But anyway, so the 4 things that Facebook is focusing on, or that this article is focusing on, is these 4 patents. Patent number 1, I'm gonna read them, and then I'm gonna go in depth about it. I'm gonna read the next one, go in depth about it, etc., etc. All right. So number one, a patent for using your device's front-facing camera to read your facial expressions and determine how you feel about what you see on the screen. Now, this is using facial recognition technology, which isn't a new thing. That's been around for a while. I'm actually going to be doing a programming tutorial on facial recognition in the web browser. So it's not over sophisticated. So they're using it to determine emotional recognition, which also there are algorithms out here, and it's pretty common knowledge in the computer science field for people who do these type of things, and it's open source technology to be able to determine moods. If you're an Android developer and you use any of those Google's APIs, then you know how easy it is to determine mood. So they're using it to determine how you feel about what you read on the screen. So if you're reading something about whatever Donald Trump did this week or today on Twitter or whatnot, and you twist your face up in disgust, it's recording that information, and it's making a profile about you, a sub profile about you. It takes this profile, it sells that to the advertisers. So now advertisers, based off how you feel when you read, I'm just going to stick with politics, okay? Based how you feel about politics, companies will know, okay, this person is a liberal or this person is a conservative. You might not put that anywhere on your Facebook. You might be one of these people, man, I'm going to use Facebook, but I'm going to keep everything private so Facebook won't know anything about me besides what I tell them. We're past that point because you emit data continuously 24/7. You have no choice in the matter. You're always emitting data. Every time, as long as you are breathing, you are emitting data. Even in death, you emit data. People study decaying bodies and stuff all the time. But long story short, we live in an era where data is valuable. Okay, so knowing how you feel, if I can tell you, if you if you can tell me how you feel, I can tell you your beliefs. It's a simple question. It's binary, really. If I show you pictures of Donald Trump and you smile, I know you support Donald Trump. If I show you a picture of Donald Trump and you twist your face in disgust, pretty sure I can tell that you're not a supporter of Donald Trump. You're probably a liberal. Advertisers are paying millions of dollars for that information because emotion drives commerce. We buy things and we give money to causes based on how we feel. Does that make sense? Everything is about emotion, okay? We are in a race, and when I say we, advertisers, are in a race for eyeballs. Ads everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. They want your attention, and even auditorily, they want you to hear. They want you to feel a certain way. That's why they play music in ads, because the music, and in movies, because the music tells you how to feel. And if I can manipulate your feelings, or I know how, based off, what triggers you and what doesn't trigger you, I can manipulate you into putting your money where I want you to put it, whether it be a political cause or buying merchandise, etc., etc. There is levels to this. It's psychology. This is the intersection of computer science and psychology. And if I'm not making sense, I need to get with Tomo. I need to get with you on game development. All right, Tomo. I'll put I'll shout out my email later in the stream, and you can send me an email, or just send me a message directly on YouTube, and I'll respond. But anyway, I lost my train of thought, but it's all good. let me just go on to number 2. But basically, you understand the gist of what I'm saying. If I can make you feel a certain way, or I know how you're going to feel, I can manipulate your financial decisions. And this is what it's all about. Now let's go to number 2. A patent for using your phone's microphone to eavesdrop on you, determining which television programs you're watching and whether the ads are muted. It would also use the electrical signals emitted by your television to identify programs. So this one, this one is very interesting because, all right, let me break it down. There's levels to this too. Okay. Level number 1, it's using your microphone and it's listening for the frequency that we can hear, that humans can hear, right? And it's listening for your TV, and it can listen for keywords and stuff to figure out what channel you're watching, because on the ads and stuff, the commercials are like, welcome to Modern Family on ABC or whatever. Does Modern Family come on ABC? Yeah, I think it comes on ABC. I don't want to be incorrect, but anyway. So, it listens for keywords and stuff like that, and it can tell what channel. It can tell if you're watching a football game. It can tell which game you're watching based off listening to ambient signals. Okay. Now, here's the catch. Computers can also listen to frequencies higher this info is scary. Seems like it would be against the law, like the place Edward Snowden worked. I'll get that. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Tymo, you should call up. You should call up and talk about it. But anyway, number 2, it can listen to frequencies that the human ear cannot pick up, okay? So here's where this gets interesting, and I bet you guys didn't know this. Your televisions emit high frequencies all the time. That's how they emit frequencies to other TVs. A lot of you might be familiar with the Nielsen cable box, okay? That the Nielsen cable ratings. That's how they can tell like what how many households are watching the Super Bowl or whatever channel. It goes off the Nielsen rating guides, okay? So our televisions, and especially our smart televisions, they talk to each other. So you have 4 TVs in the room, right? You might have 4 different people watching. These TVs can talk to each other and tell you, which one is watching which, and are you on a commercial? What channel are you on? There's a bunch of information that gets transferred back and forth. Okay. Another thing it also does, your Google Homes, your Alexas, they talk to them as well, because Alexa and them Alexa can read those signals, and Facebook is doing the same thing. And it's essentially what Facebook is doing. They're listening to these high pitch frequencies that the TVs emit, and that carries more detailed information than the audio frequencies that are on the human audible level. The level, the decibel levels that you can hear, or frequencies you can hear rather. So yeah, so even if your TV is muted, it's still emitting those high pitch frequencies. You get what I'm saying? So, and there's no way for you to control that, man. There's no way for you to be off the grid with Facebook on your. You can go to B-dubs. I got my geolocation turned off and this, that, and the other. Man, all these phones are talking to each other. All of these electrical machines are talking to each other. We can't even hear. If we could hear high pitched frequencies, if we could hear those frequencies, it would be deafening. It would be deafening. That's how many of these devices are speaking to each other on those frequencies. So it takes this and it sends this information to advertisers. So now advertisers know how you feel and where your moral alignments are based off your facial recognition, and it knows, and it can interpret and interpolate data or extrapolate data based off your TV data that Facebook's sending on what you like to watch. Okay, this person likes to watch. I'm gonna stick with Modern Family. All right, we're gonna put more ads on Facebook for shows that are like Modern Family, and we're gonna target him or her. Number 3, a patent that would track your weekly routine. It might also use your phone's location in the middle of the night to try to determine where you live or at least sleep. All right, now this one's where it starts to get really, really creepy. I know that I've told this story before, but last year, Uber, I actually went through the interview process. I got recruited by Uber, to apply to work on the Crystal Ball Project. The Crystal Ball Project is a project inside of Uber that is a predictive analytics engine. It can do things, for example, like you can give it a block in San Francisco, and with a very high accuracy, it can tell Uber management or whoever how much money is going to be generated on that block, like where the pickup spots are going to be, like this bus bench or et cetera, or at San Francisco there are no bus benches, but different GPS locations of where most of the pickups are going to be, what the average duration of the rides are. So I might say, like, I want to be on the corner of First and Market in downtown San Francisco, okay, between the hours of 2 and 4. Tell me how much money we're going to make, tell me the average duration of the rides, tell me where the average location pickup spot is, all these predictive analytics. And how do you get predictive analytics? You get predictive analytics by extrapolating data off your previous data sets. You have to gather data and then extrapolate on it. So this is what Facebook is doing now, but instead of cars, we're talking people. Okay? So let's work this backwards. Let's start with the using your phone's location in the middle of the night. All right. So at random times in the night, based on where you live or whatever, it's going to ping your phone's GPS. After it pings your phone's GPS, it's going to do this, several times, probably daily, at least to get initial data set. And then, after so many requests, it can be like, okay, this person probably lives here, but they definitely probably sleep here at night. Okay, so now we can let's reverse geolocate this to an address. All right, cool. They live here, and all right, cool. Now let's sell that. Now we can package that up, sell that up to the advertisers. Now if they want to, they can send out a mail. You ever wonder how you get that random? You get those random mail in your mailbox. People want you to sign up for different stuff, and it might be stuff that you need, like car insurance or something like that, right? And it's like, how did they know? How do they even know where I live? I just moved here. Well, they got it from Facebook or Twitter or whoever else is doing this. If you get up, I tend to wake up anywhere between 6 and anywhere from 5:30 to 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I work from home. So, but let's assume that I had to drive to work. Okay, So let's assume that I have to be at work at 9 and I'll leave work at 8:15, pretty consistently around 8:15 every day. And it takes me about 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get to work. And I take the same route every day. Facebook is going to be watching this, and now it knows, hey, Jerome lives here. His average duration to work is here. He takes this route to get to work, and he also works at this location. We got the reverse. Okay, we got the address for this. Oh, it's this business. He works at ABC Company. And okay, cool. So he works here. He goes back. He leaves work, or he takes a lunch break around 12:15, and it takes about an hour, sometimes about an hour 15 minutes. Comes back. Oh, see, he likes to go to Arby's. Okay, cool. All right, let's let Arby's know that. Send them some targeted ads. Okay, cool. He comes back home. He goes back home, gets home around 6:00 p.m. and he goes for a bike ride every day. Well, how'd you know he went for a bike ride? Well, one of the things you get when you get GPS data is you get the speed. And I can tell that he's driving in the morning because his average speed is about 45 miles an hour. But between the time of like 6:30 to 7:30, he's only going like 10 to 20 miles an hour, which lets me know that he's probably on a bike or at least a moped or something like that. So that's how we get that data, and that's how we came to that conclusion. Oh, look, here's some pictures on his Facebook with him and his bike. Oh, okay, cool. So he likes to shop at Costco, and he typically goes every 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. All right. Cool. We'll couple that with the fourth patent and find out that he likes to buy kale and he buys baby wipes and pull-ups, size 5T pull-ups. So that means his whatever kid he has is probably about to get out of pull-ups. So let's send him as many coupons as we can right now in this next 3 to 4 months. All this stuff can be extrapolated just from the date, like just from your data. It is scary. It is scary. Number 4, a patent that would use your post and messages and credit card transactions to predict major life events such as birth, marriage, graduation, or death. Advertisers particularly value knowing when such events might occur soon. So this is coupled with number 3. It goes back to predictive analytics. And I just like I said in the last example, going to Costco, right? And use your credit card transaction and found out you went to Costco, et cetera. This person is posting a lot about baby registries and building baby cribs. We can tell that they're about to have a baby fairly soon. So let's go send them some ads for Gerber. All right, cool. We're gonna sell the information to Gerber. Let's see, marriage. Oh yeah, we see these photos. We see these photos of these engagement rings and people saying I said yes. There must be a marriage coming soon. We gotta let those advertisers know. Oh, we got a date. They said it's gonna be July 7th. 2018. All right, cool. Well, we'll let the advertisers know that ahead of time. And same thing for graduation, or and the most fucked up one is death. They're like, oh, Mr. Johnson's about to kick the bucket. Go ahead and send his daughter some funeral, as targeted towards funeral and wills and trust and all that stuff. Does she need a coffin for her dad? Yeah, let's get this funeral home over here. Hey, it's bittersweet because the ads, when they work, when you really need, you find some good deals with these ads. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not gonna front. There's a lot of good material, a lot of good products that I've purchased and stuff that came directly as a result from ads, but the way that they're getting the information just puts a sour taste in my mouth. But anyway, I have the phone lines open. The phone number is 502-791-6409. Once again, that is 502-791-6409. I would love for any and everybody to call up and let me know what you think about this. What do you think about the fact that Facebook is decided to put a patent? And in the meantime, I'm deleting my mobile Facebook app now. Thanks for the info, Tyler Ronalds. All right. I mean, well, I'm glad you said that. You know what? Thank you, Tyler. Thank you. Because I used to think that way too, right? If you watch my channel, I focus heavily on web apps. I did mobile app development for years. I still love mobile apps, but now I have a huge affinity and love for web apps. So, my first reaction when I started seeing Facebook do this stuff a couple years ago was delete the app, and I just started using the web version. But as you'll see when I do these live coding streams in a few weeks, all the stuff that they're doing, they can do on the web, especially the stuff like the facial recognition, the geolocation, a little bit harder because you have to give explicit permission, but a lot of people do. The microphone, once again, if you use the web version and you use Messenger at all, and you give it permission to use your microphone, I mean, it's a wrap. That once you give them permission once, they can use it for anything in the code. And then the stuff like the reading your messages and your posts, doing the credit card transactions and all that stuff can be done on the back end, on the server side, after you've seeded the initial data, which you've already done. So, deleting the app, I'm not saying don't. I mean, I support it if you want to go real hard, but truth be told, like I said, they become too big to fail. They're so invasive, like in every aspect of business and in social culture. It's hard to not use Facebook. But I mean, you Tyler and Tymo, you guys should call up. I love hearing from my subs on my live stream. So, I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. Like me, I use Facebook because honestly, my business, my brand, it can't survive without it. I've been to Menlo Park. I've interviewed with Facebook multiple times. I almost worked on the India internet.org project, but ended up going at Sephora because they ended up giving me the offer first. So, I've been to Facebook headquarters. I've been around the culture, and it's cool. I'm not gonna lie. And the people who work there, the vast majority of them are cool. And like I said, here's the way Facebook. I'm on the train going back home. Probably too noisy to hear. It's all good. Catch me another time. But yeah, I mean, my phone line's always open on any of these live streams. It doesn't matter if I'm coding, if I'm doing a tech talk. I'll have this line open just for you guys. So always feel free. But the way that Facebook gets away with it is because they're literally everywhere. So, for when people are like, "Oh, well, why are you tracking our GPS?" and stuff like that, they can respond with, "Well, hey, the person tried to commit suicide, and Facebook was able to triangulate their location, and first responders got to them in time." that happened. All right, cool. We got a caller. Hold on. Let's answer. Hello? You're live on Tech Talk.
Yeah, this is Tomo.
Hey, Tomo. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yeah, I was, just really listening and kind of learning about what was going on. That's all something about calling. But seems like that stuff will be illegal. If you can, that's like invading your privacy. That they can invade in your privacy. That's kind of scary.
Well, so okay. There's several aspects to this. So one, the biggest loophole is that you have to opt in to use these services, right? But the language and the rules around it is, you just have to opt in to access the service. So for example, let me go back to Facebook Messenger, right? If you want, or not even Messenger, because they made Messenger a separate app. Let's stick with just the Facebook core app. If you want to go live on Facebook, okay, and you open up the app, you have to give it access to your geolocation, your camera, and your microphone, okay? So, but once you do that, they now have permission to use that code in any way that that they choose, as long as they put it in their privacy policy. And their privacy policy is like hundreds of pages, dozens, if not hundreds of pages long. So, nobody's going to do that. And the second thing about it is, they're not doing anything. They're not using everything that's available. They use as open source. The thing that they're patenting is the algorithm, but the technology that to be able to do it, that's already out in the open, and the same technology. If you were to make it illegal, then you're also making it illegal for first responders, making it illegal for anybody and everybody who uses those technologies. Like for example, right? I don't know what phone service you use. I use Sprint, and they have like that Sprint family app or whatever. So like you can put it on all your family phones, and if your kid goes missing or something like that, you can just hit the button and it pings their GPS or whatever, right? That that's the same technology that Facebook's using, just in a different manner. And they're telling you to do it, and you're giving them permission. Now, if they didn't put in a privacy policy, or if they didn't give it a chance to opt in, which they can't, because that's built into the OS features, the Android and Apple. You have to, when you develop code, you have to implement it so that you give them, they have a choice. They have to say allow or deny. So it's and like I said, if they weren't so big to the point where, if they go down, whole businesses go down. So once as long as they're that big, then they're too big to fail.
Yeah, it sounds like it really just almost like you said. It sounds like you just inviting yourself in to giving all your information and your life away. If you download these apps and Messenger and all that, it seems like you just basically, like you said, if you don't read nothing and you just go get on Facebook or you and your friends there, then you just getting on Messenger, then you're making phone calls and you're doing all this and your location on you basically sound like you just inviting yourself to all this stuff.
Yeah, you are. And the messed up thing is the era that we live in, this social media, this global era. If you are isolationist, if you are someone who's completely off the grid, in a matter of a couple of weeks, you're out of touch with the world. Current events. TV in the next 10 years, what's going to be cable? Like if you're not, and who are the biggest? And you see what Facebook's doing with Facebook Watch. Creators are starting to be able to get paid, and you're starting to see ads and stuff on Facebook videos now. like, you got Facebook, you got YouTube, you have all these streaming providers who a lot of them end up using the same people. And this goes back to what I was talking about, the TVs talking to each other, because now that's going that's built in, that's going to be built into Facebook and stuff. You're going to be watching a lot more shows on your social media. So,
right.
And because Facebook has the largest share, and because it keeps doing things to stay on top, nobody's going to be able to take away Facebook's market share. The only way Facebook's going to go down is if they stop innovating, which is never going to happen, because they're worth over $500 billion. So
I know.
So it's a self. Yeah, they're at the point. They are the tech equivalent of who is that big firm that went down in 2008? Yeah. Anyway, they're like the banksters,
Right.
That's why he was sitting here talking shit to Congress and the British Parliament. He gave zero. You know what?
Right.
He
Let me ask you this. Okay, like one reason why I did go to, because my daughter had a computer and her computer had a virus on it. So I would use the web browser instead of having the app. So my daughter would come to me and always tell me she had crazy stuff going on through the Facebook app, but she was also logged in on her Facebook web browser. I said, well, if you got a virus, I don't know if I might be right or not, but I said, well, if you got a virus on your computer, I was always thinking, will that infect your mobile app too? Because all kind of crazy stuff. But then when she got the virus off her computer and stopped going through the web browser, then she went back to the app, everything just stopped.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know the specifics of what was going on, but the web versions and the mobile versions do talk to each other. So, I don't know if you saw that there was a bug that happened with Facebook. It was today or yesterday, but I think it was yesterday. But it unblocked people that you blocked.
Yeah.
And it happened to like 800,000 people or whatever. So when that stuff happens, that's happening on mobile and web. I don't know if you've ever had I got a Mac, an iPad, a laptop, and a phone, and all of them got Facebook Messenger on it. So when one goes off, they all go off. Okay.
Okay.
So and they all go off at the same time. Because it's all push technology. So if somebody, worst case scenario, somebody was doing something malicious, then yeah, I mean, it would be affecting both. Now they might have more if there was something, if there was a desktop virus. And I'm speaking hypothetically because I don't know if it was necessarily you said there was a virus and you got it off, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it might have been doing some keystroking or web scraping and stuff like that to try to get your Facebook password or stuff like that. So it was that's very plausible. Right.
It seemed like when Facebook started those ads, it seemed like when you started those ads, because I was advertising for something I just got through looking up. I'm like, how in the world are they finding out what I'm looking for? And it's crazy. Yeah. And specifically, the thing that freaks people out the most is when you're having a conversation with somebody and then the ad pops up, right? Like 5 minutes later. Right. That's all that falls under what's called ambient listening. So, it's all listening in the background. Same way, do you have an Android phone? Yeah, I'm on Android now. All right. Yeah. So, you can be like, hey, Google, and it'll pop up. Or if you're on, or you can do the equivalent on iPad. Nobody really stops and thinks about it, but in order for it to know that you said those key words, it has to be listening and interpreting 24/7. Okay. Man, that's interesting. So when smartphones first came out. It's better now because our batteries are better. But, remember everybody was like, man, my dumb phone, it could last 3 days without a charge. And these phones, they be, 2 hours and they're dead.
Well, I mean, well, yeah, because you got all these apps that are listening in the background, giving your GPS and all that stuff 24/7.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of scary though, man. I just I'm trying to just maybe get out of all these Instagram, because Instagram do the same thing. I can have something on Instagram. I swear, as soon as I go to leave Instagram, go to Facebook, it's on Facebook.
Facebook owns Instagram and it owns WhatsApp.
Oh, no wonder. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey,
yeah, the ads that are on Instagram.
Get rid of all this social media stuff.
Yeah, when you make an ad on Facebook, it automatically makes it on Instagram.
Yep, sure do. Yeah. I see it plenty of times. I was like, dang, I just left talking about, I was looking up flashlights one time just to see were they following me. Then next thing you know, a couple of days later, I look up, Facebook got all kind of ads for me with flashlights. It was good. But it was like I was being followed about flashlights.
Yep. I mean, you couple that with what Google does with their Google ads, Google Ads and Google Analytics is on, 80% of all websites, 90% of all websites. As soon as you go into the web, you're going out into the Wild West. And I mean, this is a big reason too why encryption is important and why, the general populace needs to be educated on internet security and, internet anonymity, because it's not like we're not doomed to just be spied on like lab rats. There are alternatives, but for the vast majority of people, and myself included, those steps to take and continue to do all that just isn't. It's just too much for for me right now, and for most people. But it's possible. This, for example, GPS thing. There's apps where you can mock your GPS, and like I used those for a while. And I would have my GPS out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So, there's ways and stuff to do all that. But, it's a cat and mouse game with security versus, the encryption, or some people call it like the hacker world or whatnot. There's always a cat and mouse game. One side's always up, then the other side comes up, and you got to wait. And it's back and forth.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna start tuning in to your live stream, man. I really enjoyed them. I missed the last one. I think I was about to watch it, but I ended up doing something else. But I'm trying to educate myself on what's going on. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. So, do you know my schedule on my channel? Do you know what
say again? I'm sorry.
Do you know what my schedule is? So on Mondays and Wednesdays, I do live coding. I'm doing the video game the video game series right now. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do my tech talk. So Tuesdays, I talk about business. And then Thursdays, I try to focus on current events and with tech related to politics. So.
That sounds good. Yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Some of these shows I work a lot, so if if I miss one,
your connection went out there. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, man. As long as you're watching, sharing, telling people, getting the word out. That's all I care about. Of course, I love it more. I love it when people are able to join live. Just getting back and forth, because people need to hear stuff. They need to hear the other point of view. I feel it's important, or not other point of view, but hear other people who aren't me talking about the issues with me.
Right.
So I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. I'm gonna sit back and figure out and listen to the show.
All right, brother. Talk to you later.
All right. Thank you very much. All right.
Bye. Awesome. That was Tamo. Thank you for the call in. Let me go back to the article real quick and get myself resituated. All right. So those are the 4 patents, and that's basically what they're doing in depth, right? So, it's bad enough that they're doing this thing, and not that they're just doing it, but that they're patenting it. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with patents. Now, as most of you know, the vast majority of my code is open source. I believe in the power of open source. But I believe that, a lot of companies, they get these patents and company trade secrets, not necessarily because they're afraid of the competition getting it, but because they're doing some really shady shit that they want to keep under wraps. Or, more so with trade secrets, because I know with patents, you got to make your work, you got a certain amount of your work has to be made to the public or something. I don't know. Whenever I had to do patent work, I had other people dealt with all that. I just like to deal with the code. But, if that wasn't bad enough, the thing that added insult to injury was that Alan Lowe, the head of intellectual property, he was a Facebook VP, he's like, most of this technology outlined in these patents has not been included in any of our products and never will be. If it never would be, why the hell are you spending all this money on these patents? And I mean, and Facebook lawyers gonna work, screw tens of thousands. I'm sure that they was paying that. Facebook ain't nothing for them. Pay some M's for some paperwork, legal paperwork. They don't give a damn. I believe that. I mean, most of this stuff, like I said, okay, the front facing camera, facial recognition, that's easy to implement. Phone using the microphone to eavesdrop on you. Collecting the data is easy. The hard part is interpreting the data. But still very doable, and no reason why that can't be done in a few sprints. Track your weekly routine. This is where it gets a little more complicated. Data collection is easy because we're doing, just collecting your posts, collecting your GPS. The hard part, once again, is the aggregation and the AI behind it that powers the analytics. This stuff is in there. It's in there. Come on. Let's just call it how it is. It's in there. And they're already doing it. We already know. Just like Ty Mo brought up, you go talking about flashlights, and next thing you know, you got ads everywhere about flashlights. It's right now Facebook is king, and Facebook is going to be king for a while. All right. There are every empire rises and every empire falls. Facebook won't be around forever, but the sooner that a new social media platform comes out that is more innovative and less invasive, that's still able to provide a free experience, that's going to see people leave Facebook. And I'm currently working on a social media platform. If you want to help donate to it and help support it, I will be doing another live stream in the coming weeks dedicated just to that. But I know that that's not going to be an overnight success. Truth be told, I expect it to be a niche social media website for the first 5 years, at least. Maybe the first 10. This is a long game. Because what most people don't understand about how the world works is power and money. Okay? Let's look at the American structure right now. what it's supposed to be idealistically versus what it does. We live in the reality where big corporations hire lobbyists to write bills to give to senator or to give to representatives / bribe senators to vote for said bills, or I said the B word, lobbies for the senator to vote for said bill, and that's how it's passed. These companies, Apple is almost at $1 trillion. It's like 906 billion. Amazon is like 826 billion. Facebook's at like $500 billion, 560 billion. They're racing to $1 trillion. Why do these companies? Some people, and I say the word ignorant not as an insult, but simply in the purest sense of the word, because they don't know, because they're thinking idealistically. They're ignorant to the fact that, people are like, why would you want so much money? What can you even do with $1 trillion? It's just greed. It's not greed. It's power lust. Because no one person is going to raise $1 trillion. But these companies can raise $1 trillion and affect, man, forget U.S. policy. I mean, of course, U.S. policy is obviously important, but these companies can affect global policy. Facebook is trying to companies are essentially going to become like governments. All right. You're going to have mega cities like San Francisco, New York City, where they have these mega corporations that make mega decisions with mega money. And that's one side of it. Now, being able to collect all this data on everyone, couple that with the mega money they have and the mega influence, and they're able to predict what you're doing, that's power for infinity if you pull it off right. That's power ad infinitum, or whatever the Latin is to infinity. That's ultimate power. Stay in the know. Research these companies. Follow them. I'm not saying don't use the features. I'm not saying don't use the app. Just understand what's going on when you use the app. Once again, if you haven't been by my website, JeromeParker.com, head to it, please. Subscribe to my blog. Check out the shop. If you haven't already subscribed to this video, please subscribe to this video. And follow me on social media. Twitter and Instagram is at MasterShake08, MastaShake08. You can follow my Facebook page at facebook.com/JeromeParker. And lastly, if you enjoyed tonight's content, please share it on your social media. Encourage other people to watch and share the video. I'm very proud to announce that today I made it to 430 subscribers. Thank you guys very much. I'm almost halfway to 1,000. I need your guys' help. You guys are very loyal. Thank you for watching the videos. I thank you for the shares. I thank you for the comments and the feedback. I thank you for the calls. Now, please help me. Get your friends to like the video. Get your friends to come on board. I'm sure you have friends who want to code, and I'm sure you have friends who would love to participate and hear my tech talks. So, help a brother out. In the meantime, guys, leave comments below. Let me know what you think about Facebook's latest decisions. Let me know, do you think that we are headed to a dystopia or utopia when it comes to data collection and aggregation? What is the worst case? What are the good things that can come from this? And what are the bad things that can come from this? Until next time, guys, it's Jerome Parker. And this has been another Tech Talk.